Let's memorize the following values of special triangles, involving special triangles. Alright, so at the beginning of a trigonometry test, you see some students just drawing this. 1, 2, root 3. This acute small angle is 30, the bigger one is 60. As well as we have a second triangle, which is 1, 1, root 2. And this is 45 degrees. So sine 30 is equals to, you stick your finger on the actual 30 degrees, opposite over hypotenuse, which is 1/2. Sine 45, stick your finger on either angle. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So this is 1 over root 2, which, by the way, if you multiply top and bottom by root 2 over root 2, which is 1, which is allowed, this is equivalent to root 2 over 2. You just multiply root 2 times root 2 is 2. What's sine 60? Put your finger on the 60, opposite over hypotenuse is root 3 over 2. So you can see that 30, 45, 60 comes from these triangles. Cosine 30, again stick your finger here. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have root 3 over 2. What about cosine 45? Cosine 45 is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 1 over root 2. Again, try to recognize the rationalized version of this answer, which is root 2 over 2. What's cosine of 60? Cosine of 60, put your finger on the 60, adjacent over hypotenuse. What's tan? Tan 30. Put your finger on the 30. Tan is opposite over adjacent. 1 over root 3. Recall the acronym SOHCAHTOA. When you hear sine, we always deal with opposite over hypotenuse. And when you hear cosine, we deal with adjacent over hypotenuse. And we have tan, we always go opposite over adjacent. What about tan 45? So we have 45 degrees, opposite over adjacent is 1 over 1, which equals 1. And tan 60, stick our finger on the angle 60. Where your finger goes does matter. Tan 60 is opposite, which is root 3 over adjacent. So this is root 3 over 1, which is root 3. Now, it is reasonable to draw these triangles to figure all these out, but if this is a race, try to memorize this table. Sine 30 is equals to 1 over 2. Sine 45 equals root 2 over 2. And sine 60, notice how the angles are getting bigger as we go down. 60 degrees is equals to root 3 over 2. Now let's just be silly and call 1 the same thing as root 1 over 2. Can you see a pattern here? These special angles 30, 45, 60 is always the answer is divided by 2. And memorizing this is as easy as root 1, root 2, root 3 on the numerator. And there's a connection here. Cosine 30 starts at the bottom and it goes up. So if I ask you, what's cosine 45? That's easy. It's the middle row. This is my favorite row. This is like the middle class lifestyle. Live within your means. Don't buy things that are too cheap, but don't buy things that are too expensive either. This is the sweet spot, root 2 over 2. However, if we ask you what's cosine 60, recognize that it's not root 3 over 2, it's quite the opposite. It's simply root 1 over 2, or 1/2, or 0.5. So memorizing this table directly is actually faster than trying to draw the picture in your head. As well, I recommend tan 60 is so simple. It's simply root 3. It behaves much like cosine. Cosine 60 is so simple, it's 1/2. So tan 45 is 1. It's good to memorize that. But tan 30 is the reciprocal of root 3, which is 1 over root 3. Now it's your turn. See if you can do these relatively quickly.